Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English with Sarah and James, your weekly podcast for improving your English in a fun and practical way. I'm Sarah.
And I'm James. It's great to be with you all again. We're really excited about today's topic because it's something so many of our students ask about.
That's right, James. Today, we're diving into the world of coffee shops. We're calling this episode Coffee Shop Confidence, Ordering Like a Native Speaker. We'll be covering everything from essential vocabulary to handy phrases that will help you order your favorite brew with ease and confidence.
Exactly. No more feeling nervous in line at a busy cafe. By the end of this episode, you'll have the tools you need to sound natural and get exactly what you want. So, grab a cuppa, get comfortable, and let's get started.
So, James, I was thinking about why ordering coffee can be so tricky for learners. I think part of it is the speed, and sometimes the barista uses slang or abbreviations, don't they?
Absolutely. And then there's the sheer number of choices. It's easy to feel overwhelmed. I had a student once who told me he just ordered coffee and hoped for the best because he was too intimidated to ask for what he really wanted.
Oh, I can totally relate to that feeling from when I was learning other languages. So, let's break it down. What's the first thing you usually say when you get to the counter?
Well, a simple hi or hello is a good start. Then you can say something like, can I get a, or I'd like a. For example, hi, can I get a latte, please? Pretty straightforward, right?
Yes, that's a good starting point. And what about specifying the size? That can be confusing with all those different names like tall, grande, venti in some coffee chains.
That's a great point. It's always a good idea to check what sizes they offer. You can ask, what sizes do you have? Or, if you know the size you want, you can say, I'll have a medium cappuccino. Using small, medium, or large is usually safe in most coffee shops.
Good tip. And what if you want to customize your drink? For example, adding an extra shot of espresso or asking for a specific type of milk? How would you phrase that?
Customization. That's where you can really tailor your drink. You could say, can I get that with oat milk? Or, I'd like an extra shot in my Americano, please. Or even, could I have a splash of caramel syrup in that? What exactly do you mean by a splash of, Sarah? I think our listeners might find that useful.
Oh, good question, James. A splash of means a small amount of liquid that is added to something. For example, I like my tea with a splash of lemon juice. Or, as we said, can I have a coffee with a splash of cream, please?
That's very clear. And how about the pronunciation, Sarah? You mentioned the short A sound in splash.
That's right, it's splash. The sound is like in cat. So, a splash of. Make sure to pronounce the H at the end clearly. Practice saying it. A splash of.
Great. And are there any synonyms or related expressions for a splash of?
Well, you could say a little bit of or a dash of. A dash of is also used for small amounts of liquid or powder, like a dash of cinnamon. However, a splash of is very common in the context of drinks.
Perfect. Okay, the next expression we mentioned is the idiom to be spoilt for choice. I use this one when talking about coffee shop menus. What does that mean exactly, Sarah?
To be spoilt for choice means to have so many good options to choose from that it's difficult to make a decision. For instance, there are so many amazing books in the shop, I'm spoilt for choice.
That's a fantastic idiom to use. And how about its pronunciation? Is there anything tricky there?
The word spoilt can be a little tricky. It's pronounced spoiled. Notice the oi sound, like in boy, and the T at the end. So, spoilt for choice. The stress is on spoilt and choice.
Good to know. And are there any related expressions or situations where we can use this idiom?
You can use it in any situation where you have a lot of good options. For example, if you're looking at a holiday brochure with many beautiful destinations, you could say, I'm spoilt for choice. It suggests a positive dilemma, a nice problem to have.
Excellent. Now for our third vocabulary item, customize. Sarah, you mentioned this when we were discussing making your coffee order specific to your liking.
Yes, customize is a verb and it means to change something to make it suitable for a particular person or purpose. For example, you can customize your new phone with different covers and apps. In a coffee shop, you customize your drink.
So, I'd like to customize my latte with almond milk and an extra shot. That's a good example. How about the pronunciation of customize?
Customize is pronounced customize. The stress is on the first syllable, cus, and the I in eyes is a long I sound, like an ice. So, customize.
Customize. Got it. Any synonyms for customize?
You could use personalize or tailor. For example, I personalize my coffee order, or the barista was happy to tailor the drink to my preferences. Tailor often implies making something fit very specific needs, like a tailored suit.
That's useful. And finally, let's look at the phrase grab and go. I think this is a very common one in today's fast-paced world, especially in cities.
It really is. Grab and go describes a type of food or a place where you can buy food that is prepared and packaged so you can take it away and eat it quickly. For example, this cafe has a great selection of grab-and-go sandwiches. Or, I'm too busy for a proper lunch, so I'll just get something grab and go.
So it's all about speed and convenience. What about the pronunciation?
Grab and go is pretty straightforward. Grab and go. Just make sure to pronounce the B in grab clearly. And it's often said quite quickly as it implies speed.
Makes sense. And are there any related terms?
Yes, you might hear takeaway or take out, which we mentioned earlier. Also, some places might be called a grab-and-go spot or offer grab-and-go options. It's all about convenience for people on the move.
Fantastic. That's a good selection of vocabulary to help our listeners feel more confident in coffee shops. And remember, everyone, the key is to practice using these phrases.
Absolutely, James. And that brings us to the end of today's episode of English with Sarah and James. We hope you found our tips on ordering coffee like a native speaker helpful.
We covered some key phrases, vocabulary like a splash of, to be spoilt for choice, customize, and grab and go, and hopefully we've shown you that ordering coffee can be an enjoyable experience, not a stressful one.
That's right. The most important thing is to practice. Don't be afraid to try out these new phrases next time you're at a coffee shop. Even if you make a small mistake, people are usually very understanding.
Exactly. Keep practicing, keep learning, and keep building your confidence. You've got this. Thanks for tuning in today.
Yes, thank you for listening. We'll be back next week with another episode designed to help you improve your English. Until then, happy learning and enjoy your coffee. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.